Directions on how to create your cardinal on a branch. Name and teacher code on the back. Begin by deciding which way you want your cardinal to face. The rounded spot is actually the front of its face, and we will add the beak later. So decide which way you want it to face. It should be a few fingers from the bottom of your paper so you have room for a branch. Using a pencil or a Sharpie, very carefully trace. Using a pencil is nice because if you make a mistake, you can erase. Really carefully go around, hold on very securely to that cardinal shape, that stencil that's in your hand. If you have to stop and reach around your hand, that's okay. Just make sure that you're holding on really tight the whole entire time you're tracing. We will start by adding the beak and then the other details. Look for the rounded kind of hill on the one side of your cardinal. You're going to make a really big V shape that starts and stops where that little hill shape is. You should be able to fit a finger or two in there so it's not really teeny tiny. Then look for the lines where your beak stops and starts, and you're going to make a really big letter C shape. And when you do this, check to make sure that you can fit a few fingers inside that space. You don't want it to be super tiny. And then inside of there, we'll make a circle, and then a kind of, later on we'll color it in as a black dot for the eye. Then go ahead and add a small line on the beak. Next, you'll add your branch. Near the bottom of your paper, you're going to make kind of a wobbly line. This does not have to be straight, but it should bump into the bottom of your bird, right? Kind of stop under its belly so that we know where it's going to be sitting on the branch. Kind of gives that appearance of sitting there. We're going to follow that first line. It should probably be about 2 fingers wide, and then we're going to get wider as we kind of get farther away. And then we want to create the kind of gap in the branch. We're going to add sort of a wobbly V shape. Then go ahead and add some slightly curved little lines. I like to put them in groups of 3 for the feet. And it looks like if you curve them a little, it looks like they're kind of wrapped around the branch. Next, we'll add the wing. Look for that little V shape kind of on the back of your bird's head, and you're going to make a big swoop that comes all the way down kind of where that point is, and you're going to connect it. Check and make sure that's 3 or 4 fingers wide so we don't have a really skinny line. Then grab a Sharpie, and any lines that are still pencil, very carefully and slowly trace those. Don't forget the middle of your eye. In that little space around the eye, you're going to very carefully darken that in with Sharpie. Make sure you use careful coloring and stay inside the lines. And go ahead and retrace carefully all your remaining pencil lines. When your drawing is complete, you use oil pastels to color in your cardinal, your branch. You can add details on the tree and the beak. Very carefully and slowly color in your spaces because oil pastels are kind of large for the space we're working in, so we have to take our time. Make sure that your coloring is very bold. You shouldn't be able to see a bunch of little white spots. So we are not rushing, shouldn't see the little white spots. Definitely not scribbling every which direction. Slow movements. It's okay if your hand gets a little tired. That means your finger muscles are growing. So take your time. Do not color over top of your black lines. And if you see crumbs, it's okay, just let them be. Remember, oil pastels smear. So it's really important that we don't brush off the crumbs. Just leave them be. They won't hurt anything, just staying on your paper. Slowly color in all of your cardinal and color in your beak and your branch, and you may add details to your branch if you choose with different colors of green. Remember those crumbs I told you about? Just let them be, and at the end, if you need to, you can just kind of shake your drawing over the trash. That way we're not smearing our beautiful artwork. For the last step, we will be painting our sky blue with liquid watercolors. Light blue or dark blue is fine. Make sure that you have enough paint on your brush and that you're picking up your brush every single time that you add paint to your paper, so we're not scrubbing our brush back and forth. And go ahead and paint your whole sky blue. Don't forget between your branch where it splits and underneath your branch. And for the last step, you'll add snowflakes. Use a little cotton swab to dip into the white paint and hold it straight up and down and just dot it on your paper all over your sky. And if you choose, after you've made big snowflakes, you can carefully flip over your cotton swab and you can use the wooden side to make small snowflakes. So that way you have a variety of snowflakes on your paper. When you're finished, go ahead and put your project on the drying rack.